Okay, so we're talking about appointments and setting up appointments today and how to do that. And so my intention for today was I was going to show you guys how to set up and put Acuity scheduling or some type of scheduling system on your websites. But so Erin, you were asking like how to narrow down like what services to choose from and like what initially to offer, because there's so many potential things that you could offer and like how to group it. So the way that I have settled on this and the way that I've come to it is first asking, okay, how do I want to do the session? Like, how do I want to offer this session? Like, do I want it to be a distant session that I do via email and then they don't schedule a time so much as I just, do it within 3 days or so, give them a time frame that I'm going to do it in, and then I send it to them via email. So that's one option. I call that a distance session. So in my practice, all of my sessions are technically distance sessions because I don't really do anything in person because I just don't right now. And I never have really. I've only done a couple in-person sessions because, this whole time I've had children and it's just been much easier for me to schedule it around my schedule and when like their schedules are, right? It's at a time in my life where I can't really, my schedule has to be really flexible to deal with what they're doing. And that I have settled on doing distance sessions pretty much exclusively. But there's a couple different ways to do distance sessions. Okay. Are we doing them where we are making a live session like via a Zoom, where they're booking a time and we're meeting via Zoom? Are we doing it where they're booking a time on the scheduling calendar and we are just doing their session during that time, but we don't meet? We're just saying, okay, you book a time slot, I'll do it and connect with your energy, do the reading, do the healing, whatever, during that time slot. And then I'll send you the recording or the PDF or whatever it is that you've generated to like document what happens after they do the session. Or are you going to do a distance session where it's totally distance in that they don't book anything? You just say, okay, my turnaround time is 10 days and I will do your session within the next 10 days. And then I will send it to you via email. Now, I personally like to say, even if it's distance, I like to give them a heads up of when I'm going to do it, because I personally don't really like people tapping into my energy without me knowing it. I like, even if I've booked a session, I still like to know when, like, somebody is tuning into my energy. Even if it's just like, I'm going to do it today in the morning at some point, or I'm going to do it in the next, like, I'm going to do it tomorrow between 12 and 5 or something, some window like that I like to give people. So I guess the first way is, how do you want to do the session, and decide on that. Like, what is easiest for you for doing it. And then that's going to model like how you then set up the session. So the way that I have it on my scheduling calendar right now is, I'll show you guys actually what mine looks like. The way that I have it divided. So I actually have a couple different ways that I offer sessions right now. And it's not totally streamlined for me yet because I've changed the way that I offer it so much. But I'll show you the way that I have it set up on my website currently. I'll go there now. Let me share the screen. Here we go. And then I'm going to hide this. Let's see. Hide video panel. Okay, so I'm hiding stuff so that I can actually see my screen, and I realized I didn't do that in previous recordings. So apologies. Okay, so here is my website. And so I have Work With Me here as a tab. And then there are a couple different ways that people can work with me. I have it set up so that I have one-on-one mentoring. This is separate than my scheduling distance one-on-one healings and readings. This is something that they like pay for in advance, and then we schedule it together. Then I have group mentorship, which again is separate from my like one-on-one sessions. I use my scheduling software just for one-on-one sessions, and I have it split up in two different ways. So one I have here, these are my healings and readings here. And I'll go over here. And this is when they would, and I explain kind of how things work at the top here. And this is where they would select a session in which they book a time for it. Okay, so I have it broken down into healings and readings, live sessions via Zoom. So this is the category that I've created where they are going to be booking a time where I would actually meet with them via Zoom. Okay, and so then I have a shamanic healing, an integration session, 3 shamanic healings, and then an intuitive reading. This is just a reading, not a healing. And these all meet via Zoom. And then down here, I have healings and readings via email, no face to face meeting. So for these, they would book a session and I would do the session during that time window. So individuals healing session at a distance recorded, sent to you via email when completed. We do not meet. And then intuitive reading, again, this is something where I connect and I send them the recording and we don't meet again. And then I have some other stuff down here, mentoring sessions, and then other stuff down here. So that's kind of how I have it split up for when people are actually going to book a time with me. Now, I also have over here in my shop distance sessions where they don't book a time with me, where I just do it when I feel like it. Essentially, I have a turnaround time of when I do it, and then I do the session like at a time that it feels most aligned to me, and they don't book a time slot for it. So that's this one, this power animal retrieval, and then this is a year of um, monthly healings in which, again, they don't really book a time. It's they get a healing every month, and there's not really a time that they book. So I kind of have it split up in a couple different ways. Let me stop sharing for a second and look at the chat. I have choices like this, but I wasn't sure if there were too many, but the explanations categories are perfect. So those are like purchasing in the shop versus scheduling, correct. And so, but I change it all the time. So something to just remind you is that like none of this is set in stone and you could change it. I change it like a couple times a month, probably, how I do stuff and like what my pricing is and what sessions I'm offering. I change it real often. And so the way that I have it split up right now is I have a way that they can book a time slot with me that is either we meet via Zoom or we don't meet, and then it's just they schedule the time slot and then I do it in that time slot, and then send it to them. And then in my shop, I have offerings where they don't book anything. It's just like they purchase the reading or the healing. And then I have in that listing, okay, my turnaround time right now is 3 to 4 weeks. And I will do it within 3 to 4 weeks when divine timing. And I'll let you know as we get closer, like when I'm going to be doing it. And that's kind of how the way that I have it set up right now. So if you don't want people to schedule a specific time slot with you, they don't need to. You can just do distance offerings and make it clear when they're booking, okay, you're not scheduling a time slot. My turnaround time is 10 days or something, and I will get it to you within the next 10 days. And that's that. And so there's been times and seasons of my life where I've done it a bunch of different ways. And it just depends on the way that I always ask. Something that I always ask myself is saying, what works for me and my schedule? And that's how I'm going to do it. And like, for example, when Avery was a baby infant, I only did distance sessions, and they couldn't book a time slot with me because newborns are unpredictable. So you don't know like what they're going to be doing at any time of the day, really, ever, for like their whole first year of life. So I couldn't ever predict like when I was going to have a time slot. I couldn't say, all right, you're going to book a session at noon now, and then I wouldn't know if he was going to be screaming during that time or napping or nursing or something. So what I did during that time, during his whole first year of life, was I didn't have them book a time slot with me, and instead I did sessions, just like, you buy a session and I will do it within this window. And then that's how I did it for a long time. Now I have options for people to be able to book actual time slots with me, and Zoom sessions, but I still don't do as many of those. I do a lot of most of my healing work, like, still now when it's convenient for me and when when it fits into my schedule and when I can do it and within a window. So even there's some people even that book distance sessions during that window, and the people that do that, I know them and have been working with them, and they're generally pretty fluid on when I can do it, and don't care that it's like I do it exactly between 12 and 1. Like if Avery happens to be napping at noon and I can't be playing a singing bowl in my house, then they don't really mind if I shift it. So it's just, you have to decide what works for you and just like start there. And so I would recommend having categories of like, what is this session? Is it a reading or is it a healing? Right. So that's like the first set of categories to break it down into. Or is it mentoring? Um, which you might not be doing just yet. But eventually there's going to be a point where like people are going to want to know how you do what you do and need to be taught. And then so that might be an offering that comes down the line. Is it a healing or is it a reading? That's like the first distinction. Or is it a live session or is it a session where we're meeting via Zoom, or is it a session where we are just doing it via a distance? Now, the back end part of this also is you have to decide on your payment method, right? Like how people are going to pay you. And I've talked about before how a lot of payment processors aren't accepting of psychic services. And so you have to be mindful of, okay, what type of payment am I accepting for services on my website? Like if I have Squarespace, do I have my Stripe turned on and my PayPal turned on, or do I just have my PayPal turned on? Same thing with Acuity scheduling, which I'll show you, going to be showing you guys, is for Acuity, I only accept payments via PayPal because I just like to be on the safe side, knowing that PayPal doesn't care about psychic services. Stripe has, they restrict fortune telling and psychic services. And I've contacted them in the past about this, and the Stripe reps have said, energy healing is fine. And I think that they mostly um, ban it because of like a 1-800 type, like pay per minute type reading places that are high risk, in that people will be on there and then they'll dispute the charge because whatever, it's just an industry that there's a lot of disputes for. And I think that is what has caused it to be more of a high risk industry. And they generally have said they're okay with healers, but I still like to play it safe because I do know medium friend of mine who did actually get shut down by Stripe for offering readings, and then she can't have a Stripe account now. So, and Stripe is like the payment processor for so many things. So the way that I do it is for my healings and readings, I only accept PayPal. For any other service that I'm offering that's not like a psychic, like pure reading or something, I can accept Stripe for it. So for my classes, for my membership stuff, where I'm like where I'm providing them with recordings and they're getting other benefits, that I'll accept Stripe for. But if it's just a healing or a reading, I like to play it safe and only accept PayPal. How do you have the different payment options set up from the same scheduling setup? So for Acuity, I only accept PayPal. And then for classes and stuff, I use Moonclerk or I use Stripe. And then for Squarespace, if it's in your Squarespace shop, you cannot turn on Stripe, and you can just have it turned on PayPal. Like you don't have to activate your Stripe account on your Squarespace website. So the way that I've done it is I've had like different ways to do services versus doing other stuff. So my other stuff, I will accept Stripe for by either processing payment through my website or processing payment through Moonclerk. Moonclerk is a service that I use for accepting payment for classes and things like that. And my group healing, the Moon Circle group. So Moonclerk is a service that's offered on top of Stripe, and that I use for classes. Let me see if I have it here. I do. So if you go to intuitiveincome.co, I have a link to Moonclerk to look at that. I'll share screen. Okay, so I'm going to hide this control here. Okay, so I have on intuitiveincome.co, if you go here, I have a link to Moonclerk. And Moonclerk is a service that um, allows you to accept payments, like recurring and one-time payments. So I like to use this for classes or anything that I'm doing payment plans for. This is a service that I like to use for that. Because it's pretty flexible and it allows for like lots of different options. And then what you can do for MoonClerk is, excuse me, is you can embed the forms that you create in MoonClerk. I'll go into it and show you into your Squarespace website. So, like you can create any number of plans here and you create a form, create a payment form. And then like here are my payment forms for the Moon Circle. And then you can, what you can do is go into your payment form and then go to use. And then you'll be allowed to embed, just like we did for the email list, embed the payment form on your website, or you can do a link. So you can have this can be the link to the payment form, and then you can create a button on your website to pay for that. There's so many different options to accept payment. And so MoonClerk is just one that I really like. So yeah, that's MoonClerk. But first, so I'm going to show you how to do, guys, to do Acuity. Let me go to here. Let's see, because I know that you guys are in the chat and I can't see it when I'm screen sharing. Okay, so I'm going to close that and then hide all this, and I'll come back to questions in a second, just so that I can see my screen a little more clearly while I'm recording for you guys. And okay, so we're going to go to Squarespace and we're going to go to our website. I already have it open here. This is my demo website, Earth Energy Healings. And I've made, obviously from last time, we have our About Me, our contact page, and our services page, which we're working on. So right now, what I recommend is choosing a couple of services that you're going to start with, like maybe not having like 20 different services, but just a couple, like a variety of them at different price points. Like, so for here, for my demo, I have a chakra healing and then I have an oracle reading, just because I felt that those were two of the things that I started with, and I felt like they seemed pretty easy for me. At the time, something basic to start with. So I had a chakra healing. And then the way that I set it up here was 30-minute distance healing, send you an email with a PDF audio recording of my findings and what was done. And so you kind of decide here, okay, how am I going to structure it? And you can say in here, just be clear what they're getting, right? So what are you going to do and what will they receive? So you can go to your website, go to edit. And so you're going to do a 30-minute distance session and you're going to do a chakra clearing. Then are you going to record it as you do it? Or are you going to send them a PDF write-up? Here's an option, a PDF write-up. Or are you going to send them an audio recording of summarizing what you did after you did it? So decide here what you're going to do and how you're going to send them the results. This, I have it structured so that it's a distance healing. You can make it so that you meet with them via Zoom, and you do the healing with them live on Zoom. It just depends on how you want to set it up. I think for most people who are just starting, doing it at a distance and then sending an email with the PDF write-up or the audio recording is probably what is going to feel the safest for you. So I recommend doing that. I know some people like to do record themselves on a YouTube video and then upload the video via an unlisted link and then send the YouTube video link. So you can say then, I'll record the findings via video and send you a link to the video with everything that was done and what came up. Then you can write here, like, my turnaround time is 7 to 10 days from when you book to when I complete the session. Okay. And then you can say, like, once you book, I will let you know when to expect the session to be completed. Okay, so there's that. And then the oracle reading, same thing. You're going to write down, this is the other service that I'm writing down, is you would write down, hang on a second, I will look and see at the chat. Okay. Okay, so back to the oracle reading. That's another service you can do. And then you're gonna 1 to 3 question reading, consultant, the email oracle cards done via email. I'll tune in and send you a picture of the cards and an audio reading of what I receive in response to your questions. And then here's your payments. Okay. And so from here, what you can do is you can create in your PayPal account, you can create payment buttons and then embed those payment buttons here for them to pay for the service. That's a super simple and easy way to do it. Another thing that you can do is, let's say for the oracle reading, how do they submit your questions? You're going to need to tell them how you want them to pay if you're doing a distance session and they're not booking a live appointment with you. So you want to be super clear on, like, say you just have this. Okay, so think about if somebody wants to book this service with you, what is their next step going to be, right? So this doesn't tell them, okay, how do I pay you and how do I submit questions? So you might want to say, okay, pay by sending $60 to this PayPal link or to Venmo, and then emailing your questions to this email address. You might want to do that, or you can do a form here where you have the form where they submit their questions and then you give them instructions to send payment. That's a free and easy way to do that. Same thing for this. You're going to want to say, okay, how does someone buy this? Right? And you want to make it as easy as possible for them to submit payment to you, because if they have to guess or ask questions, they're going to leave and not want to do it. You have to make it easy for people to book a session with you and give you payment. Okay, so for this one, how do they pay you? What do they do? And you can create, Squarespace has a commerce plan in which you can create offerings in a shop where they would book the offering, and then that payment, you would set up your payment and you'd have to upgrade your Squarespace plan. Here's like a shopping cart thing where you'd create the offering in a shop. So that's an option. There's so many different ways. Another option would be like have a PayPal payment button here and here for them to pay for it, and then they send you an email with their intentions or what they'd like to do. That's another way to do it. And then another way to do it is to create an Acuity scheduling calendar where they book a time slot in which you do this, and then you send them an email after. So ultimately what it's going to be is you deciding what works best for you and what you like the flow of, that is also easy for somebody to pay you. So the way that I have decided on it is I have 2 ways that I do it. Is I have what we see here is I have like actual scheduling page where they can schedule a time slot with me. And then I also have a shop where I have, like, they just buy the item in the shop and then I do it when I feel like it or within my time frame of doing it. Now, just be aware that Etsy is very much not friendly to psychic services, so don't create your shop on Etsy. If you want to do it this way where you have items in a shop, you're going to want to create your shop within Squarespace. Okay, which I wasn't super going to go into today, but the way that you would do that is just click a plus button and then you're going to create a store. So right here, go to collections store. And then are you going to create a new category within an already existing store, or are you going to create a new store? So there you go. You're going to create a store. And how do you want your store to look? Choose one. I'm just going to choose this one, the simplest. Okay. And then I think what would be easiest for most people is creating offerings in a store, or setting up an Acuity scheduler. Just like choose one of them that you're going to do. Okay. Am I going to create my offerings in a store and someone can just buy a reading and then, hang on a second. go here. I'm going to go to this edit dial here and see if I can change the name of this website, this store. Yeah, we don't want it to be called store. We're going to call it shop. So change all those, change the URL to shop. And then here, these products are already here. And like, obviously you don't want them in there. So you can go ahead and delete those. I think these are just all demo products to show you how the products are set up. So here we go. Let's do a service. So we just went to add product and then we're adding a service. And then you can add an image maybe. I don't really have an image ready to go here. So let me see if I can find something random here. What is this an image of? I don't even know. Here we go. This is one of my images from my chakras class. So I have my chakras class here. And what's my price? So my chakras class costs $2.99. And then you're going to change if it's on sale or not. And if it's on sale, you're going to change what's the sale price. Then how much is your quantity? And do you have unlimited quantity? I'm going to put unlimited. Otherwise, you can just do like, I'm only going to do 20 of these, but just choose unlimited for now. Then you can add different variations of this if you want. I've used this before, this variations option, to add a sliding scale, because then you can add different price points, but we're just going to skip that for now. And then what category do you want? So you can create a category called classes, or if you want for healings and readings, just going to click add. And then let's see what else we can have here. Here's your product name. The chakras class. I'm actually gonna just change it to be our chakra healing, and we can change the image later. And then what you can do then is I'm gonna duplicate this so I can go to the page and get my description of what we want to create our offering. Okay, so we're gonna go back here, get out of the store, go back, pages. We go to services. And so here's our chakra healing. So we're gonna take this description here, copy it, and add it to our description here. And actually, we'll just change the price to $85 like we said. And then you can put, I'm gonna go to Classic Editor because I don't like the new editor. So I'm gonna just go to my Classic Editor because I like it better there. Oh, looks like it deleted everything I was doing. Let's start again. Chakra healing. And then, let's see. I don't even know what image I used before. Here we go. Random image here. And then you're gonna go, what did I just do? I'll show you. So we go to the item. Here's our chakra healing. We're gonna call it a 30-minute chakra healing. Oh, it did bring some stuff over. And then your description goes right here. And then, format it as you would like to. And add as much detail here as you want to. And that's your description. Here's your categories. Add it as a class. Why is this not letting me select a category? Oh, here. There we go. Okay, so we selected the category. Then you have your sessions. Then you're going to add the pricing. So you're going to go here and add your price is $85. Then you're going to choose your thumbnail image. Just click on the one that you uploaded on the main page, unless you want a different one. Then you're gonna, if you want to put any additional info here, you can do that. Then you're gonna do, if you want any additional forms, I like to do this for healing, so I can name this form. We'll call it chakra healing. Then you're gonna add some fields. So maybe you want their name, and then you're gonna have them first and last name required. Then you're gonna maybe you want their birthday. So you put down here, text to date of birth, just if that's something that would help you, and you can click required. Then you can, maybe you want an intention. So like, I like to have a healing intention. Like, what's the reason that they booked? Something you can put here, like what's the reason that you're scheduling a session? What is your intention? Like what's coming up for you? Something here, I like to have an intention before I go into a healing so that I know, like, you know, I can really hone in on what's going on here. And then if you want to add any additional fields, and you can say, maybe you want to add a checkbox that says, check to agree. And then maybe you want to write like, I understand this is a distance session and will be completed within 7 to 10 business days, or whatever you want to write here. You can also request that you can put here like a note for them to send you a picture if that's what you want. But I like to have a little product form here so I can get a little additional information. So we'll save that. And then you can just add other stuff here. Like, do you want to have a special URL for your product? Maybe it's going to be your chakra healing. You're going to change the URL. You can change any of the SEO, like the title, or the images, social sharing, all of that. But it's pretty much done from here. So we'll go to save and publish. And then I'm going to continue to delete this stuff because it doesn't belong. But now you have a product in your shop. And so I have classes here because we did something different. So you can go into the settings button up here, go to categories. Then you can delete this category if you want to. Or you can rename it. So we're going to rename it and go to edit and call it healings or something. Let's see. There you go. And so now you have a session in your shop there. And so what you can do here is you can put your, we're going to go back here. And you have one thing, your little session in your shop here. And what you can do is you can put your services. We're going to drag it up from not linked to the main page and put it here. And then what we're going to do is give them a way to book the session. Okay. So underneath your chakra healing description, you're going to do this plus sign here. And you're going to scroll down and go to product. Then you're going to go to find a product. And there's your chakra healing. And then here's a way for them to book. We're going to not show the image because that takes up too much space. And so here we go. Here's our 30-minute chakra session. Go to add to cart. There you go. And then alignment, we're going to go to right alignment. So then it matches this. And then go to apply. There you go. They can book right there. How nice is that? And then you would do the same thing for the oracle reading. And that way you would do just distance sessions. That's pretty nice, huh? Okay, now let's say you want to take it a step further and you want them to book a session with you like in real time where they schedule the actual time that you are going to be working in. That's what you would use your scheduling for. Okay, yeah. So the shop in Squarespace, you can use it for digital goods, physical goods, and services. It's pretty nice. Okay, so there you go. You just did your first session. You just created your first product. Got it? And so now that's if you're just doing a distance session and they're going to do it, you're going to do it within 7 to 10 business days. Okay. Now, what happens if you're ready to take it a step further and actually like have them book a time that you're either going to do it or you're going to meet with them? That's when you would use Acuity scheduling, which is my preferred scheduling system. Now, Squarespace has just integrated with Acuity scheduling. I don't know how to do this integration and I can't do it because I already have a standalone Acuity scheduling account. However, if you go to scheduling here with your Squarespace, you can go to get started with scheduling and you can set up your Acuity scheduling calendar there. Now it's not free, it's an extra service. So Acuity, here has a free trial, acuityscheduling.com. They have a free trial in which I believe they can book services but can't pay for services on the free trial. So you'd still need to have a way for them to pay if you wanted to do it for free. So they could book a schedule and then you'd say, okay, book your session and then send your payment to this. Either you'd set that up in Acuity has a way that you can send them an email after they book with additional instructions. So maybe after they book, you'd say, okay, your payment is due 24 hours before you do your session, please pay here. And you could send them a PayPal link. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how to embed and do the Acuity integration with Squarespace. But you can go ahead and try it and set up Acuity within Squarespace. It shouldn't be too much different than actually doing the Acuity as a standalone, which is the way that I use it. So once you have your Acuity set up, and Acuity is for booking sessions with you that like happens like within a specific time frame. Okay, so Acuity is going to have you make an appointment calendar for your business, and I have one here for Earth Energy Healings. And then what you're going to do is start to set up your appointment types and availability. Availability will go here, and I have it for Sarah Pacino Shamanism, which is obviously my main business. And I have different, like all my appointment types set up for the specific availability limits. So what you're gonna do is once you create your calendar, it's gonna go here, your business calendar, and then you're gonna set up your availability. And this is when do you wanna offer sessions for people to book with you? And they don't have to be every day. I typically only have my calendar open on Thursdays and Fridays from 12 to 5 is when people can book with me. And so you would then just delete, this is your basic scheduling calendar of, okay, what 2 days every week can somebody book a session with me, or whatever you want your availability to be where somebody can book with you. Choose that. And then that will be your regular hours. So I like mine to be between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I only like to do it 2 days a week. So once you do that, you're going to save your regular hours and just choose. And then you're going to choose your client scheduling limits. This is so that you don't get overwhelmed, really. And this will allow you to set, okay, how many appointments do I want per week? Let me hide this panel so I can see better. So how many appointments do I want per week? How far in advance are they allowed to book? How far in advance are they allowed to change? So this is how far in advance. Do not allow clients to schedule fewer than 48 hours in advance. So do you want them to be able to schedule like 12 hours in advance of when the appointment would be? I personally don't like that. I like to have plenty of time. So I'm going to leave it at 48 hours. How far in advance do you want them to be able to book? And that's when you would change this. And then do not allow them to reschedule less than. Do you want them to be able to cancel your appointment 24 hours in advance or change that? And then what I like to do is choose one appointment per slot, obviously, because it's just you. And then I only like to accept a maximum appointments per week. So accept a maximum number of appointments per week. And I only like to do 4 per week. And then how many appointments per day do you want to do? I like to only do 2 per day. And then you would just choose what works for you and save that. And then what you can also do is if you go into this calendar, I believe there's somewhere in here where you can sync your, I don't know where it is right now, but there's a way that you can link your Google Calendar with Acuity so that you can have time blocked off. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Let me see here. I might not know where it is now because it's been a while since I found it. You could just Google it and see like how to link Acuity scheduling to my Google Calendar. Because I am not sure if I know where to find it anymore because I've done it so long ago. You can also set different hours for different appointment types too. But just go in and choose your availability and your limits and get that set up. Let's go here. There might be a way if you go into business settings and, oh, here it is. I see it. Where'd it go? Here it is. Sync with other calendars. So go in there if you use a Google Calendar and sync with your Google Calendar so you don't overbook yourself and your personal commitments. Okay, so you can do that in there. Here's payment settings where you can set up how they pay you. Here it says accept payments from clients, and I have it set up to only using PayPal. You can have it just be Stripe, Square, PayPal, both Stripe and PayPal, both Square and PayPal. I just have it just set to PayPal, and here's my PayPal email address. So set that up for yourself. Then you're going to go in to choose appointment types, and then here would be the same thing. So new type of service and new type of group class or whatever, but we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to do new type of service. And then when you create this type of service, we're going to do select our calendar. So Earth Energy Healings is your business, and maybe we'll do our chakra healing. And it's 30 minutes, and our price is $85. And our category, we're going to create a new category here because you won't have this set up and have this be distance healing. Save it. You could choose a color for it if you want to, and then you want it to be public. Go to create new appointment type. And so now you have your distance healing, chakra healing 30 minutes. And then you can go to scheduling link. And let's see here. Here's your scheduling link, and then here's your chakra healing, and this will book to your Earth Energy Healings calendar. Now, what you're gonna do is for your chakra healing, there's your session that you've created. You're gonna go in and say, okay, do I want an intake form? So you know how we created a form on Squarespace for them to be able to give you additional information? You'll probably wanna do that over here too. So you go to new custom form, and then you build your form over here. So you want, what's your form name? It's chakra healing. Okay, and then what's the description? Write any instructions here, and then just go through and build it. And then you can write like text box and have this be like name, required, required, save question. And then you're going to select which appointment, which form, you're going to select which appointments show for this form. So for this, we're going to select our chakra healing that we made. And then it'll show them this form, okay? And then that's all you have to do. And then you just click Save Form once your form is done. And then here we go, scheduling page link. So the client scheduling page. You can go here, customize what your link looks like. And then here is links and embedding. So you can send links to specific healings, and you can embed specific session calendars for them to directly schedule. So here we have our chakra healing. So if they clicked on this, wherever you place that link, it would allow them just to book that, and it wouldn't show any of your other appointment types. So maybe on your scheduling page over here, instead of, let me cancel this, instead of having this book chakra healing here, you would have your link. Let's show you. So here's your chakra healing session. And we're going to go back over here to this direct links. So you're going to go to copy link because you want to have them a way to schedule their chakra healing. So come back over here to your services. Then you are going to go to here, plus sign, to add something. Scroll down to scheduling. You're going to add existing Acuity schedule because that's what we're doing right now, or you're going to do it with your own, whatever you do within Squarespace. And then here's how they would book a chakra healing right here. So you embed that calendar right there for them and then click apply. Okay. And then maybe you don't want all that text at the top of yours. So here's where you would go to customize the appearance of your scheduling page. So go here to customize appearance. And then here's how you can change everything. Like what's your business name? What's your logo? How do you want it to display, daily or monthly? Scheduling. What do you want to say on your scheduling page? You don't need to put all the stuff here. You can say nothing. Then you're going to say, where does the week start? Time, date, English, time zone. This is important. Check this box. Require clients to choose their time zone when booking. If you don't check this box, it's going to send them reminders in your time zone, which is like totally not true to what is going to be their timing. So make sure you check this box where they choose their booking. And then that's pretty much it. That's the main way to get it set up. And then if you create more sessions and we can delete this here, what you can do is you can list your sessions up here, and then down at the bottom, you can have book your session, and then you can put your scheduling calendar here, kind of like the way I have it, where I have all my, this is how shamanic healing works up here, and then they scroll down and here's all my offerings. And so that's how you would do it. And then the way that you would do that is you would go to here and go to scheduling page link. Then you're going to go to general scheduling page. This will show all of your appointments. Then you're going to copy this link, this one right here, copy, and then that's what you would embed right here. So click there. Oops, let's book that. Open that. Add schedule. There's my scheduling link, apply, and then it will load there. And then you're done. So once you have either your Acuity scheduling page set up for them to book, or your shop set up so that they can book services with you, I would go ahead and move your services to your main navigation bar. So now you have about, home, contact, services. Okay. And just choose like one or two services. And if you have a bunch, just choose a couple different ones, and you can see which ones you like doing, which ones you don't like doing, how you like doing readings. Like, it's important to try different things so then you can see what you like and what you don't like. I'm going to stop share for a second and check in. Let's see. Have mine integrated. Erin says direct scheduling. So you need to make another form because this is scheduling a specific time versus the shop. And all under services have a scheduling page. Yeah, so all individual services will have their own scheduling page. The way that I have it set up is so that anyone can book, like I have my services at the top, and then underneath it says, here are all my scheduling like options. Here are all the services options, and you can book each one of these individually. So it's like you kind of have to do it slightly differently depending on how you want to do it. If you want somebody to book a specific time with you, I prefer to use Acuity for that. If you want to just do a distance offering where they book it and then you do it when it's convenient for you, then I prefer to use the shop. It's kind of a personal preference how you want to do it. Right now on my website, I have it if you go to my shop, that's a distance session that you purchase, and I do whenever. If you go to work with me one-on-one, then we're working one-on-one, like they're booking a time, right? That's like the distinction. And I think that's why mine seems busy, because they aren't under healings and readings. Yeah, Erin, you could also make different pages. So you could have like work with me folder and then have healings and readings. And then each page would describe like, okay, I'll show you how to do that. Let me show you. So, okay, we're over here, you have your services page. So right now I have a healing and a reading on here. You could also create two different services pages, and one of your pages is going to be healings and one of them is going to be readings. And then what you'd go do here is go to plus, and then you would go to, hang on, let me hide this so I can see what I'm doing, folder. And then it would be work with me or book a session or something. whatever call to action you want to use. So you'd have book a session folder. Okay. And so then that creates a drop down on your home menu. So let's scroll up here. And then you would put your services in there. So here we go. I want this to load. Come on. Squarespace. But see how it would, you would then have, this would be book a session. I don't know why that's not showing up there. Let me see if I can. Come on. Why I can't edit that for some reason. Why it won't let me edit this specific line item here. I'm going to go here and create a new folder. Will that also not show up correctly? Yeah, maybe it needs a minute to load. Let's refresh it and see what it does. But so the way that you could do that, Erin, is if you did, so here's on my website, if we scroll up, I have work with me, and then here's all the different options, ways to work with me.
Those are all in that work with me folder.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't just have one services page. I have here are all the ways that you can work with me in these multiple different service offerings.
So I have like a services page with all them in a folder, but there's no like link to book and pay right there. I have like a scheduling page, which I think is overwhelming because you're like, if you was reading about it, you want to book right then and see what you want. I like how this is.
Yeah. So what I would do without seeing what you have, and I don't know why this is, oh, here we go. Here we go. No, we just updated it. So now we have this weird new folder thing. And so what we're going to do is just change the name of it. Delete this one. Here, it should have this little gearbox to change the name of the folder. And that's what we're looking for. So what I would do is probably create different pages for the different categories that you have. And then put those different categories under this book a session option.
Okay.
Alternately, you could also go to here, add a page, and then go to a link, and then put your Acuity scheduling link right here. And then that would bring them to your general scheduling page on Acuity. That's another option.
And
or
have it like not linked, so it's not shown up there, but it will bring them there, kind of things. It's not on the header.
Correct. Yes. So what I do, so any page that you don't want on the header goes in the not linked section. So it still exists on your website, but it's not on the header.
And it's a lot cleaner looking too.
So you have book a session, and then you can go to like services. So here would be like, if you wanted to change this services page, it could be like schedule one-on-one session or something. And then the shop might be like distance readings. You would change this to like distance sessions or something. There's a million different ways you can do it. I don't have my shop even on my navigation bar for some reason. I have distance email sessions.
And that takes you to your shop.
And that takes me to my shop.
Yeah, that's nice. There's so many, there's so many, yeah.
Correct. There's so many different ways to do this, and none of them are wrong. It's just, you have to think of, how do I make it so that it's easy for somebody to pay and buy something? And that's like the main thing. Is the main mistake that I see people have is like, here are the ways to work with me, but it's like not clear how to pay and buy. And then that turns people away, because you're like, when I can't clearly see what I'm buying or how to pay for it, you're like, forget it, I can't figure it out. And then you don't do it, right? So you have to figure out, you have to say, okay, how can I clearly define what it is that I'm offering, and then also make it easy for them to pay? The biggest problem that I see, like new, like spiritual practitioners do is they have their offerings, but there's no way for somebody to send them money. Like they'll say, send me an email to book a session. Guess what? Nobody's going to do that. Like they need to be
Yeah.
able to buy the session without having to ask you for permission, right?
Yeah, and I like that the forms, you can have it all right there. So it's all, they
Mhm.
just click and be done.
Correct. So, and it's easy, it's automated too. So if somebody wants to book a session, and they're like, okay, how do I book a session? I can send them a link to the appropriate page, and then it's right there for them to pay, and then choose their time, and then fill out any questions that I have. Same thing with the shop. It's right there for them to pay, fill out the form that I have, and then if I need to contact them, then I can just email them after. But I don't have to follow up with them to get any additional information because I've collected it all up front.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So the biggest
very
thing is when you're
streamlined.
going through it, when you're going through and setting up your sessions, is to make it easy for somebody to pay for them.
Yeah, that's, so I have my QuickBooks integrated with my Acuity, and so I'm thinking of not having that integration so that I can have um more easy, you can move around easier versus when they book an appointment and then they get an email back with an invoice instead of just paying right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they need to have like they need to pay like right then, because anytime that you're not capturing payment like right away, you run the chance of like that opportunity
Yeah.
being lost. And I know that, yeah, Spirit will align you with the people who you need to work with, but we also need to make it easier for people to book those services. And there's many places in which spiritual people don't do that in the best possible way. And I think that if they're sending an email and then saying, "Hey, pay this invoice," like, yeah, like some people will follow up with that, but then other people are just going to be like, "Oh, never mind," and then like
Yeah.
have second thoughts and decide they don't want it.
Like it's all
Um,
automated, but it's that extra step. Like they just want
yeah.
to do it when they're booking. I like that.
Correct. They want to pay up front. And Acuity allows you to just collect the payment up front. And so does Squarespace allows you to just collect the payment up front right away. Um, Ways that I've done it in the past, like I know that in the beginning, some people want to not have to pay for like 25 different services when their business is still getting started. And so another way to do that is PayPal payment buttons, and to create payment buttons for each of your services and then have them pay via the payment button, and then email you with their name and birthday or whatever information that you need. So that's a way to do it. And I know that it's a lot of spiritual people still do it that way. And you're still collecting payment via the PayPal button. You just have to follow up with them a little bit more to get more information. But that's a free way to do it, because even the Squarespace business plan that has the shop is, I think the commerce plan is the one that has the shop. I think I can't remember the total distinction because I have like the commerce plan, but even the shop costs a little extra in Squarespace. And so what is a way that you want to do it as cheaply as possible when you're getting started is just have a basic website, and then I think it's, you have to have a business plan on Squarespace to be able to embed code, which we talked about last time with the email lists. And so you do need a business website, but then even Acuity scheduling is $15 extra a month. And so if you're not quite there yet with business income and you want to really uh, minimize expenses, and you don't have like a ton of balls in the air, yet with your business, like a ton of different offerings where it doesn't need to be as automated, then what you can do is have the session on your website and then create PayPal payment buttons under each one, which makes it a little bit, it's not as pretty, I'll say, but it still is a way to collect payment up front. There's just so many different ways to do it, and you really have to try. I've tried so many different things and have tried so many different platforms, have tried so many different scheduling softwares, have tried so many different ways of accepting payment, and the ones that have worked for me are PayPal payment buttons and Moon Clerk, which is what I use for like classes and stuff, and Acuity scheduling, and then of course the Squarespace shop.
Yeah, it makes it confusing to have all the options, but it's also nice because you can do what you can do.
I think
but-
it's like, okay, how do I want to do it first of all? Like, do I want to pay for an extra service, right? That's the first question. And then if you don't want to pay for an extra service, then it's PayPal payment buttons, right? Then that's what you're going to use. You're going to use PayPal payment buttons. And then if you do want to pay for an extra service, it's like, okay, am I going to put it in the shop and pay for Squarespace Commerce to have a shop and then have it just be distance sessions? Or am I going to pay for Acuity scheduling and have Acuity scheduling put like let people book specific times, and then make those choices that way. So how cheaply do I want to do it? Do I want to pay for an extra service? And two, then what type of session am I going to offer? Like if I'm just going to offer a distance session, then I don't need Acuity because then they don't need to book a time. But if I do want to have them book times, then I need Acuity.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't just have to be one or the other, right? Some stuff you can put in a shop and some stuff you can be like live. They can make a Zoom appointment with you. And in Acuity, I didn't go into this, but in Acuity, there's email responders. So with your appointment, you can go in and say, okay, when they book an appointment, what do I want that email confirmation to look like? And if I'm going to do a Zoom meeting with them, you can put the Zoom link right in the email confirmation.
Yeah, that's how I have mine set up. And it works great. It's fantastic.
It's
but-
amazing. It's like very seamless. You don't do anything. It's like it accepts payment. It sends them reminders. It sends them Zoom links. Like Acuity is incredible. But if you're like
Yeah.
at a point where you're like, okay, I need to run my business really lean right now, while I
Yeah.
wait for funds to come in, it might just be that you do PayPal payment and distance sessions.
Yeah, I like the distance and the shop option.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Appointments.
I like it. I like it.
All right, that's all, guys. And then next time, I think we're just going to finalize stuff and talk about any remaining questions and then get stuff done. But we're pretty much done and close to having a launched website. It's just a matter of getting the services set up and finalized and then tweaking as we go. And I make edits to my website probably on a daily basis.
Every
So
time I log
I just
in, I'm like, oh, what's new now?
Yeah, I change stuff every day of my website. I like tweak stuff and change stuff and I learn stuff and I like just shift stuff around all the time. So it's totally a process where it evolves with you and you can change it all the time. And I think the biggest fear that I had of getting my website up there is I wanted everything to be perfect and work great the first time around. And that's truthfully not the way it goes. It's like you have to get it up there, see how it works, and then make changes as it goes for as long as it exists. And it's flexible and fluid, but it's also, and that also gives you the freedom to not have to be perfect right away, because you're going to learn as you go and you're going to decide, wow, okay, I did not like the flow of that appointment scheduling. How can I improve it? And that's like, you're going to learn you're going to learn the most by the stuff that doesn't work and the stuff that you don't like or that you didn't have a good experience with, and then make edits from that way.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Cool.
guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.